Hey everyone! Today's video is going to be a video response to Hank Green's recent video, Is YouTube Good for Humanity? And while Hank covers a lot of subjects in 4 minutes, and I'm hardly able to cover one in 10 minutes, I wanted to talk about one specific part of Hank's video, which was about fame in the YouTube world. Hank talks about a lot of his fears of the internet right now, and I completely agree with a lot of what he said because he is Hank Green. He is a very intelligent human being who makes good points on a regular basis. But what I really loved about the things he said is that he didn't deny the positives, he just noticed the negatives more. And there are so many positives to YouTube, and one of them is the fact that I can create videos and so can Miley Cyrus on the same platform, and that's pretty cool considering Miley Cyrus is a billionaire and I am not. But I think the problem with YouTube that Hank saw in terms of fame, and the problem I see a lot as well, is the divide that is becoming more and more apparent as YouTube becomes a more established platform. We are 10 years into YouTube, which is not a long time when it comes to something that's considered established. You consider Hollywood, which has been around for a long time, and you consider television, which has been around for a fairly long time, and then you consider YouTube, which has been around for 10 years, and you realize that actually is not a long time at all. We're in the middle of this technological boom, like we all feel it, and it's happening so rapidly. Like every year new releases are coming out, brand new amazing technologies coming out, and that includes technology in terms of software and in terms of YouTube. And YouTube has changed over the last 10 years, no one can deny that. But that's not only in terms of software, that's also in terms of the people using it and how they use it. And I think that's what Hank was getting at. The way people are using YouTube is changing and has been changing over the last 10 years. Now, I don't have any facts and figures specifically with me, so feel free to correct me in the comments below, but when YouTube started, I mean, it was called YouTube, which kind of just goes to show that the creators were like, yes, even you can create videos, even you can create content. And I think that was such a lovely idea, and I feel like that's been maintained okay over the last 10 years, especially recently. Because YouTube has become more established, there's more of a divide coming to be, and I think that's because when something becomes established, it starts to act like establishment, mostly because it has to, mostly because you can't take the millions and millions of users on YouTube and not have some sort of divide or some sort of hierarchy between them. And while YouTube was created to demolish that hierarchy, it's clearly there because of subscriber count, view count, comments, you know, all those things that factor into what makes a YouTuber popular. And, you know, like everything in economics, it's a popularity contest. And, that's not necessarily a good thing, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I feel like it's more of a negative than a positive when it comes to what we initially expected out of YouTube, especially what I initially expected out of YouTube being a part of the Nerdfighter community and wanting to make videos as a member of that community. I expected it to be a lot more level than it actually is, which is okay, you know, I'm okay with the fact that I'm not like this giant YouTube star. But the thing with the giant YouTube stars is that they didn't expect to be that either. And what comes with that territory of being a star is all these fans instead of all of these people that you can interact with directly. It's a lot more difficult with fans, even though, you know, people like Taylor Swift accomplish it so well. Taylor Swift is goddess. It's a lot harder to maintain that kind of relationship where a creator and a watcher are on the equal playing field, because not all watchers create content anymore, which is a lot different from what I imagined YouTube when I first started using it. Because I just remember, like, 2 years before I started making videos, I desperately wanted to start making videos, and I finally did it once I got over, you know, the like initial shyness of I started making videos because I really wanted to interact with the community, and I feel like I tried to do that as much as possible. But also with YouTube, after 10 years things become conventions. Not in terms of like VidCon conventions, but like conventions as in like things become conventional. Take the tag video I just did. That's a convention of YouTube. That is something that is established, that people do tag videos. And with conventions, you see the people who started them and you see the people who continue it, and that makes a difference between who's a like creator and who's more of a fan and who is just a fan who just watches and doesn't interact as much directly in terms of, you know, making videos. And I feel like that is very similar to how Hollywood works, because, you know, you've got the big name powerhouses of Hollywood and you've got those movies, which are a lot harder to interact with. You can't interact directly with a movie. You are a more passive watcher. You aren't actively trying to engage with it necessarily. Then you've got like the more indie houses, which are, I guess, easier to interact with, but still there's no real comparison for YouTube. But more and more YouTube is becoming like those institutions that we have, which have more of a celebrity status and a fan status, and they're very clearly outlined. I remember hearing about VidCon once, someone said you literally see the divide because they have to have barricades for certain YouTubers and their fans, that you can't mingle and interact, and that's very difficult to comprehend, considering YouTube is meant to be an equalizer. It was supposed to be a platform that disrupted that kind of status, I guess, or that sense of status. That said, no one can really compare YouTube to that, because thankfully YouTube is a place where you can directly interact with people. No other institution has the kind of service that YouTube provides, which is direct interaction with comments and everything. If you go watch a movie, yeah, you can write a review, yeah, you can tweet about it, but you can't do it directly to the person. You can't directly write underneath their movie like, oh, this was great, or oh, I didn't like this as much. And that's why YouTube is kind of beautiful. You get to discuss things, even if you are a fan of something and don't make videos about it, or if you make a couple videos but not really, or if you are one of the big time YouTubers, you can do that. You can interact directly, and I think that's wonderful. What Hank was getting at was that you can't really deny that YouTube is becoming a little bit more like conventional media that we see daily, even though more and more, at least I am constantly on the internet over television. YouTube is wonderful. It's a wonderful place, and while the tide is turning in a direction that is echoing a lot of the past and a lot of history, and a lot of history that we don't like, I feel like it is better. We're doing slightly better than the previous iterations of video creation or content creation. I feel like the reason why the tide is turning that way is just like something I mentioned in a previous video, why is YouTube white? It's because history just repeats itself, but it's also because we do what we're used to. We're used to following the crowd. That happens a lot. Like, you see certain movies shoot up and get top box office scores or whatever, and that's because everyone kind of does the same things, and everyone is used to the same things, and everyone expects certain things out of certain people. I feel like that it's difficult to break that routine. It's very difficult to tell yourself, no, I am going to comment on this even though I'm not used to interacting with media, or no, I'm not going to watch this certain white YouTuber because I like this certain non-white YouTuber slightly better, even though I'm more used to watching white people on screens. That's more of what I talked about in my last video. I'll link it down below if you want to watch. But I feel like because YouTube has a tendency to foster discussion, we're turning away from that more. The fact that we are able to talk about if YouTube is good for humanity or not on YouTube itself is pretty incredible. It's really incredible that we can talk on the same platform, that I can make a video response to Hank Green, amazing YouTuber, and that both of us have the same upload time, that both of us do the same exact things, because technology is an equalizer in this case, because YouTube has equalized that enough, despite the fact that I still see Hank as higher than me and there is that hierarchy. I'm still able to interact with him. That is amazing. That's what's amazing about YouTube, and I feel like the more we foster this discussion, the better things will be, and the less the tide will turn towards those institutions that we are so used to and those establishments. And I just really hope we do. And I really hope that people continue to comment and discuss and make video responses. I really hope so, because that's what makes YouTube great. What makes YouTube great isn't that people can make movies, put it up, and then never be seen again. You know, what makes YouTube great isn't that people become stars, even though that's pretty cool that people now make livings off of YouTube. That's not what makes YouTube great. What makes YouTube great is that I can talk to you, and you can talk to me. Okay, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I will leave links down below to Hank Green's video and my last video on this subject-ish, and a recommended video of the day as usual. And I will see you next time. Bye! Hey everyone, little post-production note here. I was in a little video with a bunch of other people called Fish Out of Water. It's part of One Time Stories, which was created by Leslie Found Her Grill, which is an amazing YouTube channel, and it has really cool stories, and I got the chance to put one of my stories in, so I will link it down below, and be sure to watch it. Bye!